Hi, welcome to MTurk Guide. Today I'm going to go over a viewer request, and just so you know, when I do get a viewer request, I try very hard to prioritize those and get them out to you as soon as possible, because I understand that if you're taking the time to ask a question, that it's a priority, for you to have it answered. So I try to get to it as fast as I possibly can, although usually my quiet time tends to be nighttime. So today I did get a request to go over the hits called image tag selection, and the requester is Rosario A.U. I'm not familiar with this requester, so I am doing this on the fly with you all riding along. But so anyways, I grabbed the name from the comment and I searched for it. This is what I came up with. I believe that this is the correct one based on a quick review. So if I look at TO, just because I like people to understand my thought process as I go through things, when I look at TO, I do see some red, but that actually doesn't concern me too much, and I'll tell you why. The communicativity, fairness, and promptness all are, within a good range. Of communicativity and fairness are great, a solid 5. Promptness is good, no complaints there. And generosity is where there's a lower score and it's in the red. And, generosity is, people's perception of the pay, essentially. If it, and the reason why that doesn't concern me is because some people are, the bottom line is everybody's in a different place in their turking journey. And so for somebody who's just starting out, who wants, hits that are just going to help them build their numbers in a safe way, they may put a higher value on a requester that, diligently approves hits and does it quickly, as opposed to looking for super duper high paying hits. So, I understand that person may put more value on a requester that's prompt, or that is liberal in their approval policy. So I understand that. If I were to see reds on, fairness, or communicativity, fairness is probably the one that would get my antenna up. But here I'm fine with this. It's based on 10 reviews, which means there's a decent base of Tarkers that have stopped and done a review and on this requester. So that's how I feel about this requester. I would say proceed if this is something that interests you. Alrighty, so doing a quick look, it says select between 2 sets of tags, the one that best represents an image, and that they are asking for your total approved hits to be greater than 100. I'm there at 59,047, but that's great for people who are new. If you're anything over 100, that's a great threshold if you're new. Location is ASAUAXCAGBIEINIONZUMUS. So you need to be, I'm going to show my lack of geography skills here, but I definitely know that there's US there, Canada, Great Britain, I see Ireland, India, IO, New Zealand is NZ, Australia, few I don't recognize, but just folks, don't get too confused. A lot of people say CA and they automatically think, if they're in the US, they think California, but it's actually Canada. So essentially they've got a whole bunch of countries in there. So that's great for those who might be turking from outside of the US. And then your hit approval rating is greater than 90%, again, which is great. That's a lot of requesters have like 98 or 99%. So this person's definitely, this requester's got a pretty liberal policy here for newbies. So if you're trying to build up your numbers, I'd say this is a good bet. Alrighty, so let's dive into one. I'm going to check it out here and see what it's all about. I know I have a CAPTCHA here that I'm going to have to solve. Yep. So I have a CAPTCHA, which means I can't go anywhere until I go ahead and type that in. So I'll go ahead and accept this hit. Okay. And now that I'm in, Let's go back up here. I see that there is a 60-minute timer on it. So that's great. I am going to read the directions here along with you. I apologize for that. All right, image tag selection instructions. Which set of tags better represent the given 5 images? For every image, pick between tags A and tags B. Then select among the possible choices the reason why you picked one set over the other. If you don't know the meaning of a tag, try to click on it to look at a set of representative images for it. Okay, so this is basically comparing tags on a photo and deciding which one is better. So in this case, tags A over here is there's no tags, and over here it says open air market, small stores, hand cart, logwood. Okay, here this is interesting. I mean, there's no tags on A, so I'm gonna obviously go with A. B is much better than A. I don't really think something is better than nothing. And in this case, the open air market, small stores, those appear to be applicable to the image. Hand cart and logwood probably, I'm going to say those probably weren't related. But again, when you're comparing against nothing, I'm going to say that these are much better. I don't think they're great, but all right, so then it goes on to ask, why did you choose this set of tags? Select all that apply. And this is going to be interesting because if I'm looking at this with radio buttons, usually it's hard. Usually picking multiple radio buttons isn't the way you would do this. Usually be checkboxes, but let's see what we get here. The options are: it describes the image better, it has more relevant tags, it is more precise and specific to the content of the image. The other set of tags was not relevant to the image at all. The other set contained many terms that I do not know. I had to make a choice, but they are really equivalent. Okay, so they give you some options here. And in it is not one where it says one didn't have any tags. I think I'm going to go with the other set of tags was not relevant to the image at all. I think that's fair. It's a fair assessment. I wish it had something that was a little bit more specific to my situation, but hey, right off the bat, we kind of got a weird one. Great. All right, let's move on. So we've got food, vegetation, and vegetable here on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, we have dumpling and mozzarella. So I know what food means, as we all do. Vegetation to me means landscape with leaves, trees, or maybe vineyards. I'm kind of picturing maybe apple trees or something like that. But I'm thinking of landscape with vegetation, right? With leaves and things of that nature. And then a vegetable is a vegetable. And then on the right-hand side, we have dumpling and mozzarella. So dumpling, I immediately think of like the Chinese dumplings, like dim sum, I think they're called. And then mozzarella is a type of cheese. It's either shredded and you can put it on pizza, or you can get it in a container filled with water, and you can slice it up and make like a nice caprese salad. So I know what all those things mean. But this is some sort of, this may be like, I don't know, anybody to laugh at me on the other end, but not that I would ever know. But I think it might be some sort of coconut, or it reminds me of like a coconut that's been cut the way they cut them on like the islands and stuff. So, regardless, I definitely am looking at this dumpling mozzarella, and it's not a dumpling, and it's definitely not mozzarella. I definitely think this is a coconut or some sort of fruit. I don't love either of these tags, but given the fact that I have to make a choice here, oops, I apologize for that. I'm going to go with food, vegetation, and vegetable. And I'm going to say that tags A is slightly better. because again, I don't really feel that any of these are great. I think food is applicable, but in a very, very broad sense. So now I've got to choose why. I'm going to say the other set of tags was not relevant to the image at all. That's true. And then here I just want to. Okay, so you can. So it describes the image better. Okay, so you do multiple radio buttons. That's usually when I think of those, I think of you can only pick one. So that's great. We confirmed that it's working as they said it is. So you can definitely do more than one, and you want to select all that apply according to the instructions. So I'm going to say, yeah, it describes the image better, and the other set of tags is not relevant to the image at all. It's okay. I'm feeling pretty good about that one. Normally, obviously, as we move through these, I'm on my third one. I'd go through these pretty quickly, not so quickly as to be careless, but I'm talking through this all with you, so I normally wouldn't do that. Okay, so moving on. Tag A is vehicle, boat, beach, sea, island, Krabby Patty. I don't know. Long tail. Okay, I know what some of those are. The last two there, I may have to look those up. Okay, tags B, cockle shell, seaboat, junk, and boat. All right. So here, I don't know what some of these mean. So at the top of the directions we saw, it said, if you don't know the meaning of a tag, try to click on it to look at a set of representative images for it. So it appears that they're going to give you some more information. So let's go ahead and click on the first term and see what comes up. So they direct you to this site called imagenet.org, which appears to be some sort of I don't know what you want to call it. Maybe it's like an image repository of some sort of. It seems to be some sort of repository with all sorts of tags, and it looks like they're trying to give multiple or a catalog, if you will, of examples for any given terms, which is pretty lofty goal, if that's in fact the goal. But anyways, so it sees me, or I see here that it's pulling up some pictures of boats, similar to what I saw in here. So I think that's good. So I think we're on the right path here. Let's hit the next one and see what comes up. I mean, my preliminary thought is that the tags B might be a little more specific. Okay, that's pretty small. Even the very small ones I can still see. I don't want to go clicking on too much, but I can see that there's boats, which is we know that's what we're in the market for here. Junk, that's a pretty broad term, junk. So you could get most anything there, I would imagine. And it seems that particular one didn't bring anything up. So, okay. We'll do the last one, boat, and I'm obviously going to get boats if I'm getting anything. So, this appears to be an attempt. The boats, okay, that was interesting. They brought up like gravy boats or cream boats. So it's a little different than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, see, it says gravy boat, gravy holder, sauce boat. Okay. So that's a little different than I thought it was going to be, which is interesting. All right. So given all that information, I feel that on tags B, that the top one, the middle one, or the second middle one there are relevant. The last two, the third one brought up nothing, and I don't necessarily feel that junk is a good way to describe what's in this picture. And then boat, I would say, yeah, is a good way to describe the picture. But when I clicked on that image net, it brought up gravy boats, which is not actually what I was looking for. So it's a little bit of a conundrum here of how much am I supposed to be relying on what's that in that images, imagesnet.org. I think it's supposed to be a reference point and not necessarily sort of your end all be all of reference material. So now I'm kind of in the middle a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead, just in the interest of being complete. I'm going to see what, this appears to be a place. I'm going to see what these other things are. Okay, so Krabi, Thailand. Okay, so that appears to give a little more information. I mean, this one, long tail, I know what it means in the world of keywords and things like that, but maybe a long tail boat, is that, I'm probably going above and beyond what would be expected. Okay, here we go, long tail boat. I'm probably going a little bit above and beyond what would be expected for this, but I don't want anybody to watch me doing something kind of in a haphazard manner. I don't want to encourage that type of stuff, but I'm also not saying that you need to go through all this either. So some of this is just my lack of knowledge. So, all right. So given that I actually looked up the last two over here, I am feeling like I feel like A is actually slightly better than B. Actually, you know what? I actually think it's much better than B. I think B has some merit, but comparatively, I think every single one here in some way, describes what's going on in this picture. Whereas tag B, junk, is too subjective for me, and boat, the way that it linked to the gravy boat made me a little uncomfortable about being able to answer whether I felt that was applicable. So I'm going to say A is much better than B, and I chose it because it describes the image better. I think that's it. I wouldn't say it's necessarily more precise and specific, but it has more relevant tags. So that's the way I feel about that one. So where are we here? I think we're on 4. All right. So we've got landscape and mountains, which is true. And we've got foothill and hillside. So, because I don't, I want to see where it brings me. Foothill, okay. It would seem that where you have a hill or a mountain, you would have a foothill. And then hillside, I know what that is. So we'll take a peek at, these small pictures. But again, if you have a hill, you have a hillside. All right. So, this one, if I think about it, I could say that B is slightly better, or I could feel they're equivalent. I think that landscape is pretty broad, and mountain is not necessarily the complete focal point of the image, whereas foothill and hillside certainly describes one aspect of this picture. So I feel like I'm going to call them as equivalent. And I'm going to say that, I had to make a choice, but I do feel that they're equivalent. That's the way I feel about that one. So you can see as I'm moving along here a little better that, as you start to get the hang of it, you should be able to kind of fly through these, or, within reason. All right. The last one that we're on, I believe, mountain and hiking, and then foothill, which we already saw, mountainside and range. So mountainside, again, we know it's going to be the side of a mountain. I don't think we should be coming up with anything kind of goofy on that one. Yep. Okay. No surprise there. And then range, that one might bring up something not okay. Oh, okay. In this case, looks like we are going to get mountain range. Okay. I wasn't sure if we would get like a stove, a range or something. Okay. So mountain hiking, foothill, mountainside, range. I feel that B is better. I think the hiking on A is a little presumptuous in my mind because I'm looking and I don't see any hikers or anything. So I'm going to go with B being slightly better than A. And the reason being that I would say it's more precise and specific, because I do feel that hiking is a little presumptuous. I'll say it has more relevant tags, which it does. Okay. All right. So that's it. That's me doing the 5 of them. Whoops, I apologize for the background noise there. Drop my headphones. Okay, so we're going to submit. There we go. So I've submitted it, and it will be approved or rejected shortly. So as I'm not sure if I said this, so I'll repeat myself just in case, but 60 minutes is ample time to do something like this. I should say that it would take you well less than 5 minutes probably, depending on how much clicking you have to do on the tags and whether you know what some of these keywords mean or not. You could be a couple minutes on one maybe. As you go through them more, you're gonna get a better idea what you're looking at, and I think with time you'll be able to go through these a lot faster. They've got a good batch going up right now. 8,810 is what's up, so I wouldn't necessarily think you'd have to panda these or keep them in your queue or anything. There's plenty up. So if you're going to be working on them, I think you can just go ahead, accept, tick the box to auto accept the new one. And when you submit it, there'll be a fresh one there right in front of you to work on. The auto approval metric on these is 3 days. So what that means is that if the requester doesn't action the hits within 3 days, so it would be 3 days from when I just submitted it. So, it would be just past midnight East Coast time. In 3 days, it will approve it automatically, and I'll get paid for it. So, again, this is set up by the requester. With a big batch like this, I would think that the requesters are probably not going to look at every single one. They may do a sampling size or something of that nature. And so they're going to allow whatever they don't, approve or reject manually to be auto approved after 3 days. So at 2 cents per hit, if you can focus in and sort of pick up your speed with it a little bit, and if you happen to know a lot of the keywords that are coming up for the images, I think this is a safe way to build up some numbers and get yourself a good little padding there in terms of approvals, so that if you do find yourself on the receiving end of rejection at some point in the near future, you can absorb a rejection or two without it hurting your approval percentage rating badly. So that's my thought on this one. And this requester, again, Rosario A.U. If you have any feedback on the hit, if you've had any approved, comment, let me know. This is probably one where if you have a positive or negative experience, that go ahead and write into Turkopticon and give a little review of this requester. I think they've got good data up right now, so I'm hoping that data is correct. But if you find something to the contrary, or you find that they're a very good requester, definitely take some time in the near future and go over to TO and indicate that. It's I feel you got to give and take a little bit with Turkopticon to ensure that it's a good quality resource. So taking a couple minutes out of a day to add something to TO, I think is just part of being a good member of the Turking community. So anyways, if you have any requests for tutorials, please leave me a comment, send me a message, absolutely let me know. I'll get to it as soon as I can. If you're interested in something outside of MTurk in terms of tutorials, definitely shoot me a message. I've had a few requests for people to ask me to do some other content, and I'm certainly willing to do that. If there's something that you're interested in having me sort of break it down and put it into a video or a webcast, I have no problem doing that. Just let me know. As always, please comment, like, subscribe, share. Let me know how your Turking day is going. Let me know if you have any questions. I really, really appreciate the feedback, the engagement that I have from you folks. It really makes me feel less like I'm out here talking to myself. So as always, have a great Turking day, and I will be talking to you all in the next video. Thanks.